obviously invited, so call me back. Okay, I love you. Bye.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Emotionally Online, the show for spilling guts and sharing secrets. The weekly slumber party hosted by yours truly, the one and only Maddie Drossbeck. What's going on, you guys? How are we doing? How are we feeling? Sorry for the unexpected hiatus last week. I had a lot going on. But I'm feeling so good today. I woke up on the right side of the fucking bed. I swear, I just woke up. I felt so creatively like, let's go, let's do it. And yeah, I'm trying to manage my stress a little better, manage my workload a little better so I can enjoy my life more. This is a perpetual, ongoing thing that I'm trying to work on. But today I'm feeling good. Woke up in a good mood, cuddled with Mango all through the night. It really does solve all of your issues, is having a cat that loves you. They don't tell you that, but it is true. In fact, I've thought many times throughout this era of my life of like the crazy cat lady stereotype is such a goal. Honestly, like what's better than that? She's lived her whole life well-loved, surrounded by animals that are independent and gorgeous and sweet, but also like a big bitch when they need to be. And I love that about them. A woman surrounded by cats. She's single, unbothered, lives in a house by herself, doing things that she wants, reading, drinking coffee, I don't know, doing fucking nothing, staring at a wall. Knitting, I don't know, whatever the fuck else crazy cat people do. I love it. The lifestyle, it's honestly, it's a goal. I don't understand why people would dunk on a crazy cat lady or why it's even called a crazy cat lady. Oh, it's so depressing. A single woman who just sits at home with her cat. That's depressing to you? All right. More for me then. You guys are delusional. That sounds fan-fucking-tastic. It honestly, I know I've said this before, but if I ever get married, we can't live together. And it's because I don't want to give up this part of life. I don't want to live with someone else, okay? Like, unless they're the most aesthetically submissive person on the face of the planet, and they're like, yeah, listen, whatever you want, babe. However you want to decorate this house, you go for it. And then I'm going to put them in a different room. We're not going to share a bedroom. Or there'll be 3 bedrooms. We'll each have our own bedroom. And then there'll be a joint bedroom that we can spend some nights in, like if we want to. But then most of the nights, I need my own space. I want my own bed. I want you far away from me. I don't sleep as good when people are in the bed with me. Even if it's someone that I'm so comfortable with that I want to be sleeping with. When my friends share a bed with me, doesn't matter. I do not sleep as good if there's someone else in the bed. The bed is for me and Mango only. Me and my cat, you go in a different room. But I just don't want to give up the era of my life where I live by myself. My place is decorated specifically to my liking, and I can sort of do whatever the fuck I want every single day. That is such a joy, okay? Why would I want to give that up? I want love. I would love a relationship. I am open to opportunities that come my way in the love and romance department. However, I just don't understand why I would need to sacrifice this in order to have that. I feel like we're just going to have to go a very non-traditional approach to partnership over the course of my life. I would so much rather, like if I was with someone, be neighbors. We could have like adjoining apartments, like adjoining hotel rooms, and they can get the apartment right next door to me, and we'll just put in a door that has 2 doors in it, so I can leave my door open and they can leave theirs closed if they're not into hanging out. And if they open the door, then like the apartments become one mega apartment, but we can shut the door and have our own space. It's just important to me. And maybe I will end up with someone that is like, whatever you want. But to be honest with you, I find that the odds for that are probably pretty slim. I think that I'm attracted to other people with strong opinions. I don't know. Maybe not in the design apartment though, because I feel like I've dated a lot of people that are not very stylish, which I'm fine with because I grew up watching my parents, who my mom is gorgeous. She's super fucking hot. Great style. And my dad has like the same 3 t-shirts with holes in it that he wears on a loop. So I think there's something about the dynamic of like one hot partner and one like, I got 3 shirts partner that I find endearing. So maybe I wouldn't care. But yeah, no matter how I swing it, I want my own place. I want to live my cat lady living at home unbothered fantasy even when I'm in a relationship. Okay. But right now, it is amazing. Life is so fucking good. And I'm having a great day. So in a few days where I'm not having a great day, we're going to remember how it felt to have an amazing day. Today, baby. And you know what? It's probably because I took the last 2 days off to do nothing, which I can't even tell you the last time I've sat and done nothing, truly nothing for 2 days. I watched Succession. I played Overcooked. I listened to podcasts. I ate an amazing bolognese. It was amazing. I had a great 2 days sitting on this fucking couch. I needed a break after I got home from my Miami trip. So I was in Miami this past weekend. It was a 4-day trip. Light work, right? Except when you're me and you hate going out. You know, you're thinking to yourself, Maddie, why the fuck are you going to Miami if you hate going out? You hate partying. It's a fair question, right? But I love a girls' trip. I love sitting by a pool. I love a day drink. I love a mojito. I love a girls' trip. I love hanging out with the besties. You can get me to go anywhere if you tell me that I can hang out with the besties and have a nice beverage by a pool. You can get me almost anywhere if you tell me that's the situation. So of course, I agreed to go to Miami. 4 days, little weekend trip. And it was a lot of fun. But yeah, I was exhausted. I was exhausted after night 1 because the amount of mental convincing it takes me to be like, yeah, we're going to have fun going out tonight. I was convincing myself for months before this trip. I was like, you're going to like it. You're going to have fun going out. And even when I got there, I was like, I'm not convinced, Maddie. I know you've been trying to convince me for months that I was going to like going out, but I just don't. I just fucking hate it, to be honest. But I love hanging out when the sun is up. I love drinking by a pool and being a menace during the daytime. Once the clock strikes 9 p.m., it's time for me to wrap it up. I'll go to dinner. I'll get amazing and cute and we'll go to dinner and we'll take pics. And then I will go home and go to bed. And I will wake up the next morning bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, ready to drink mimosas at 8 a.m. I will rage all day and I will enjoy it. I don't want to go out at night. I don't like it. And I think that I am reaching a point in my life where I've been working on just like accepting that I am who I am. Like, I don't like partying. I don't like going out drinking at night. Because I think I've always felt like I needed to do all of that because that's what everyone else my age is doing. And it's not that I won't do anything. Like, I love going to a comedy show, a Broadway show, a burlesque show. I'll do things like that, a trivia night. Like, you can get me to come outside at night, but like, there's got to be something. Some juice, you know? A bar? A club? Like, I'm good. I'm good on that for real for the rest of my life. I don't need it anymore. And I just feel like I'm reaching a point now where I'm like pretty close to just calling it off forever and saying, I'm just letting everyone know now, I'm saying no for the rest of my life anytime you guys ask me to go out to a bar or a club. And I mean like partying at a bar or a club. So clubs always, I'm out. There's just no way. I'm not going. But like a bar, I'll go sit at a bar, at like a calm, quiet bar, and sit and talk to you. If we can connect and talk, I'll stay out all night with you. Just talking. I love that. I love a little wine bar, sit and have a glass of wine and talk. I'm not trying to go to a bar and order, I don't know, some godforsaken drink. What did I order in college? Whiskey sours. I'm not trying to go to a sweaty, sticky bar, order whiskey sours, and listen to Fetty Wap. I don't want to. I don't care. I do not want to go. And people are always like, they're trying to get me to go out to like Lady Gaga nights or like early 2000s nights. And sometimes I will go if you're going to confirm to me that they're only going to play music like that. Because then maybe I will have a good time. If you tell me that they're only going to play Lady Gaga, everyone there is gay and dressed up like Lady Gaga, I probably will enjoy myself. Will I enjoy myself more than if I was in my apartment alone listening to Lady Gaga? I don't know, guys. I'm not convinced. But you can sometimes get me to go if you confirm that it's like the night on the town that I want to have. Otherwise, I think I'm good forever. After night 1 in Miami, I was like, ooh, night 2 is going to be rough. It was like, geez, I don't know if it's for me, the lifestyle of going out at 11 to midnight and then staying out until 3, 4 a.m. I don't think it's for me. And then waking up the next day and doing it all over again. I think I'm good, actually. And then day 3, I was like, guys, I'll be real. I'm going to tap out after dinner. I'm like, I'm not going out tonight. But then nobody ended up going out. So I think that everyone was tired and they were just waiting for one person to be like, I'm good, to give permission to the rest of the group to be like, oh, really? I'm good too. So we didn't go out the 3rd night. It was a lot of fun. Had a great time. It was a great little girls trip. The hotel that we were at had a pool on the roof. There was 2 pools, one like backyard pool and then one rooftop pool. And the rooftop pool had a glass bottom and it went down to like this lobby area. So if you were standing in the lobby, you could look up and just see people in the pool. And when we discovered that was the thing, it's like we were inside the pool and my friends are like, I think this is glass. Like, is this a glass bottom? Does this go all the way down? And then I went downstairs to go check and I was like, that's so fucking funny. There's a glass bottom. I can see you guys. And when I went down there, they were just like floating like normal people. And so I go back up and I was like, okay, one of you needs to go down there and I'll do a little jig. I'll do a little dance for you guys. We'll see how it's going. Okay, just take a little video. So my friend goes down there and we're looking through the glass, waiting to see her body 6 stories below us come in. And we see her walk underneath us and we start doing a little dance, doing a little crisscross, a little all that. We're pulling out all the stops. She comes back up to the pool, shows us the video, and I think I have laughed about it for about 148 hours. Because you can see all holes. All holes are on display. I don't understand what is going on because we're fully wearing bathing suit bottoms, but it looks like we're not. It looks like you can see all of my holes, pubes and all. It's just, you can see everything. But you can't, because I know I'm wearing a bathing suit, but there's some type of optical illusion going on with the water coming from that angle. Because it's a very limited amount of fabric, right? Like, it's just like a little sliver. And I was wearing like a yellow bathing suit. In the water, like it's very close to skin tone. We're this close to it being beige. But my friend had a colorful bathing suit and even she looked naked. So I don't know, but we were laughing about it for fucking hours because I was like, it looks like we're just on the roof, fully fucking naked, showing our holes to everyone in the lobby. Who designed this? What the fuck is going on? It's so funny. I almost don't care that a pervert designed that. I almost don't care because it's fucking funny. So if you guys ever find yourself in Miami, I think we stayed at the Gabriel Hotel, South Beach. And yeah, there's a pool on the roof if you'd like to show hole. I think it would kind of be a really great, very cinematic angle for a porn. Like if you were going to shoot from the lobby. Here's another porn idea, if anyone wants to take it. You shoot it from the lobby, looking up at people fucking in the pool that don't know that it's a glass bottom down to the lobby. And then there's people in the lobby that are getting turned on. And then there's an orgy that happens in the lobby while they're watching the people fuck in the pool. And you get like this back and forth moment, right? It could be good. I think there's something there. So in case anyone would like to do that, you can hit up the Gabriel and see if they'll let you shoot it. Because I think that it could be fun. It could be sexy. There's a fantasy there that I might want to insert myself into. It's a design choice. We'll put it that way. And perhaps it was a design choice made for the people who want to be a little voyeuristic. You know? And maybe we should just lean into that more. Give the designer the vibes that they wanted. That's all I'm saying. So anyways, Miami was super fun. Came home and just needed to spend 2 days staring at the wall, doing absolutely nothing vibes. And then first day that I was back, spent like the whole day by myself. And I had talked to my friends about this when I was in Miami, but I have like a slight interest in trying weed again and just seeing how different it feels in my body now, because when I would smoke in college, it was very few and far between that I would smoke, because I had a bad experience every single time that I smoked in college. I would have a panic attack. I'd be super anxious. I would think that I couldn't speak, that I was dying. Like it made me panic every single fucking time. For those of you that have watched my channel for a long time, you might remember the date that I went on my freshman year of college where I thought I couldn't speak, and I didn't speak the entire date because I was super fucking high and thought that I had no vocal cords. So those were my experiences smoking weed in college. And also that date in general, like, why would you do that to me? We smoked at his apartment. This was like the first guy that I was ever like in love with. Not seriously, but like I was obsessed with him. He was who I lost my virginity to. We were going out for several months. But this was probably like within the first month that we were seeing each other. I come over, we're going on a date. I go to his apartment first. We smoke at his apartment, and then he takes me to a parade. I want to say it was like the Chinese New Year parade. I don't know. But imagine that. You are so high that you think you can't speak. You've lost your vocal cords, and then you get taken to a Chinese New Year parade, and you're clung to the barricade, just like fearing for your life, thinking like, okay, I can't speak. This is it for me. I'm actually gonna fucking die. I'm gonna be the first person that dies here attached to this barricade at a Chinese New Year parade. There's all these people everywhere. I think everyone's staring at me, and I'm like, I feel like a mime. I'm like stuck in a box. And yeah, I remember we went to get food afterwards, and as we're sitting there eating burritos, I'm like regaining my ability to see life through the lens of someone that can speak and is not about to die. And I remember feeling like I fucked everything up after that date. I'm like, he must think I'm so weird and boring. And like, I'm just, what is going on? What's up with her? Nothing changed after that. I mean, he was the worst, but he did let me not speak on a date. Still wanted to go out with me. So, but anyways, those were my experiences smoking weed in college, where I was just like super fucking anxious. So I haven't smoked since like my sophomore or junior year of college. I just started saying no at some point because I was like, every time I do it, it's the same thing. I understand all these people are like, if you do this strain or do this or do that, it'll be different. I tried everything and I always just had a panic attack. So I was like, I'm good. I actually don't think I need to try this. I know that you all want me to like this. I don't. So that's that. But I have been getting curious since it's been, how old was I? It was 2017 last time. So it's been like 5-6 years since. So I was curious, like, would it be different now? Would it be a different experience? I've never tried smoking alone, so maybe that could change things for me. So 2 days ago, I bought weed and I smoked by myself while watching Succession. And I actually had a totally fine experience. It's definitely not something that I would do regularly. Now I just have a bunch of fucking weed that I don't know what to do with because I'm not going to smoke it. It'll take me like 3 years to get through what I have, I think. But I sat and I smoked and I didn't feel anxious this time. And I think it is solely because I was by myself. I think that if there was anybody else here, I would have felt anxious. I don't know that I could ever smoke with other people. I think I just become... Because here's the thing. I smoked while watching Succession, and I felt totally normal in my body. Like, it was like physically nothing changed. Mentally, however, it was like I had my brain surgically removed from my body. There were no fucking thoughts inside my head. The voice that speaks, my voice that I hear, just like my thoughts vocalized inside my brain, it went away. I smoked and it was like, well, that's it. No thoughts. I felt like I was like in a trance, which is not something that I like to be. And it was funny because when I was watching Succession, I'm only on season 1, but there was a line in the episode that I was watching that they were like, type A people can't get addicted because we already are addicted. And they said that line like right after I was like, I just had smoked, and I was like, that's low-key really fucking true. And I think that's also why I'm like not... There are limited situations where I would even be interested in smoking in the first place, because I really don't like feeling like I'm not 100% myself. Like I don't have 100% control. It's the same reason like when I drink, I don't get drunk. I drink and I stop the second I start to feel a little flutter in my fingertips. You know, like if I'm drinking, I'm drinking to the point where I still feel sober. If I'm drinking and I'm drunk and I'm letting myself get drunk, it's a very specific situation. Like if I'm throwing a dinner party and I'll be sitting at home drinking wine with my friends, knowing that I'm just going to walk from my dining table to my bed afterwards, I'll let myself get drunk then. But otherwise, I don't like not being in full control. I don't like feeling that way. I prefer to just be sober. I feel happier when I'm sober. I feel more social when I'm sober. I just feel overall better. I can show up as my best self when I'm sober. There are not many situations where I want to lose a little bit of control. And smoking and having all of my thoughts go out the window reminded me of why it is that I get so anxious when I'm high around other people. And it's it's like I can get away with being high and losing all of my thoughts when I'm at home watching TV and I know it's just like here, TV, bed, calling it a night. I'm not doing anything. But if I'm with other people and I can't connect to them, I'm panicking. I think it's like the same thing as I hate watching movies with other people. And it's because if I'm with someone, I want to be talking and connecting. And it was the same deal of why I don't want to go out and party. And I would rather be sitting and talking with someone at a quiet bar. Like, I don't really have an interest in being around people if I can't connect with them. I would rather be alone. Like, I'm not the type of person that really wants to just like sit quietly with other people. Some people like people's company in that way. Not that I don't like people's company in that way. But it's kind of like, if you're giving me the option of like sitting silently with my friends or being alone and sitting silently, I'm picking being alone every single time. If I'm gonna hang out with other people, I want to be able to connect with them. And weed makes it so that I can't do that. So I start freaking out because I'm like, oh my God, I haven't spoken in 15 minutes. They're going to think that I'm such a bitch. They're going to think that I don't like them. Like, I already have so many issues where people think that I don't like them because I sort of have a resting fucking bitch face and all of that. So then it's like, if I have resting bitch face and I'm not speaking, then somebody's going to ask me like, oh, are you okay? What's going on? What's wrong? And there's nothing wrong. I'm just like, I know that I just can't speak. I have no thoughts. And then I'm panicking because I think that they are getting offended by the fact that I'm not speaking, or they're overanalyzing the fact that I'm not speaking and taking it personally. And now I'm making them feel bad. It's like the antithesis of connection. And so I start freaking out because I'm like, I'm being perceived and I have zero thoughts. And I don't like feeling that way. When I'm alone though, it's fine. If I want to have my brain turned off for a little bit. It was fun. I don't know how often I would do it though, just because I don't often have the urge to turn all my thoughts off. The other problem though was I watched like 4 episodes of Succession and I couldn't tell you what fucking happened in it. I kept watching the season yesterday and I like slowly started to like remember what was going on. I watched the preview and I was like, okay. Yeah, I think I remember vaguely what was happening here. But also, like, I feel like Succession is not that hard of a plot to follow. Like, you could miss an episode or two and then pick back up and you could understand basically what had happened in your absence. But, yeah, I watched a bunch of episodes and then I was like, what is going on? What did I watch? And then I got really fucking horny, too, which I don't know what that was about. But I don't know, the weed made me very fucking horny. And then I went to go masturbate and I pulled up some porn and I watched the entire thing. What the fuck is that about? I am usually the type of person who like, I find what I want and then I fast forward to the good part. I get in there, I masturbate, I'm out in like 2 minutes, right? We get in there, we do what we need to do, and we go to bed. No, I sat and watched a 25-minute porn video because I was in a trance. It was like I couldn't move. I was like, so I don't know. For as much as I was like physically, I feel totally normal. Mentally, something was going on. Mentally, she was not all here. She watched a 25-minute porn video. She didn't skip at all. She just watched the whole thing. I don't know. I don't know if it's for me. I think I know it's not for me, actually. Let me correct the record here. Definitely not for me. But I'm happy to know that I don't get anxious if I'm by myself smoking weed. And there are definitely some situations, some days, where I would kind of love to put myself in a hypnotic, fucking trance-like state. Sometimes you just want to turn the brain off for a little bit. So, maybe once every 8 months, I'll smoke by myself. Good to know. I had fun running a little science experiment on myself, nonetheless. So... anyways, those are the life updates. That's what's going on. I hope you guys can't notice the fact that I'm missing like 100 fingernails. I have a nail appointment right after I film this episode, so they will be fixed soon. I was going through the submission box, which if you don't know, now you know. There is an audience submission box for the show. I go through a few audience submissions every single episode, keep the conversation going. Spill your guts, share your secrets, baby. Submit anything you want to, anything you're going through that you just want to get off your chest. If you're celebrating something, if you are in some drama and you'd like to know the audience opinion, you submit anything you want to submit. We are sitting in a sleeping bag circle. We're sitting in a sleeping bag circle with our heads in the middle, and we're all talking. That's the best sleepover setup. For my 21st birthday, I made everyone sleep on the floor of my apartment with all of our heads in the middle because I just wanted to relive that. Because there's nothing better than being like 14 years old at a sleepover in sleeping bags with all of your heads in the middle in a circle so you can talk. The best of times. Honestly, I might invite people over this summer to do that on the floor of my apartment because that would be so much fun. But that's the vibes that we're going for right now. So anything that you'd like to bring to this sleeping bag circle, you just let me know. You submit it in the box and maybe we will talk about it on the show. When I was going through the box today, it was so funny because there was a few questions in here that were all like in like a similar vein, similar vibe. And it's stuff that I've been thinking about so much as well. So I just love how we're in alignment like that. So I've got 2 questions off the back sort of about going in and out of your creativity that I wanted to talk about. And then we've got some dating, sex, porn questions to get into. So let's get to chatting. First submission here says, "Hiya, I want to get back to my creative self. I have studied creative writing since I was a child up to undergrad and literature to a master's level, but recently I feel so concerned I'm just going to rot and never actually pursue my interests. I worked as a waitress through the end of my master's, and in January, I just got an office job to stop being a waitress. I always wanted to write, and I still think it's something I'll do, but I feel so far from my creative self and worry I'll never reconnect and will just be a person who could have done stuff but never did. I know I should just do something every day, and I know how important creativity and the arts are to culture, but I'm struggling to prioritize this with a full-time boring office job and managing my OCD. Do you have any tips, especially as a person who lives off of their creativity?" So this, first of all, what I'm going to tell you to do is read The Artist Way by Julia Cameron. I just got done with doing an Artist Way book club ran by Miss Cathrout here on YouTube. January through April, we were doing an Artist Way book club, a big group of us. It's a book designed to help bring you closer to your creative self. And it's written in like weekly structures. So there's a chapter per every week, and there's, journaling prompts and little action items for you to do every single week that will help you get closer to your inner artist and sort of break through some of these creative blocks. Went through the process January to April, and I thought that it was a wonderful experience. I will say that I tried to go through the Artist Way at one point like a year ago. And it's hard to do by yourself or without a big group of people, because I think accountability while doing the Artist Way is like essential. And I think it makes it easier to stick with when you can see other people doing it too. And you're like committed to that. You show up to the book club every week or almost every week. And like if you fall off, you have people that can help you get back on. And I think it's even more helpful if you have like a little group of people you can get together to do the damn thing. So I would highly recommend checking out the book and going through that process, because not only is it fun to have a little book club to go to every week, but I also think it's an incredibly helpful read to anyone looking to reconnect with their creative self. I honestly feel like it's probably something that I will do every year or 2 years from now on, just to reconnect and get a little bit more solid in what's inspiring me and, how to best take care of my creativity. The other thing that I'll say is that I think when you're in a creative rut, you are convinced that everyone around you is not in a creative rut, and that your creative rut is going to like block your blessings in some way. And that if you don't get out of this rut ASAP, it's like all hope is going to be lost. And I get that and relate to that because that's how I feel sometimes too. But also, it's not true. And I think that like creativity ebbs and flows, and there's nobody that feels creative 100% of the time. We're all going through different things in life, different phases in life. And like I, for example, I've been going in and out of creative blocks for like the last year, where I'll have some weeks where I feel like, oh my God, I cannot produce even one single thing. Like I have nothing to offer. I have nothing to add. And then I'll have weeks where I feel like I have so much to say, so much to do. I feel so inspired. And then I'll go back. And when I'm feeling good, I'll convince myself that I'm out of it and then I'm on the other side of it. And then I'll go back to feeling creatively blocked. And I'm like, fuck, I thought that I was over this. And I think what I'm learning is that instead of viewing creativity as like black or white, you are doing good or you're doing bad. You have to accept the creative lulls as being part of the creative highs. And it's not like I'm doing good and I'm doing bad, but rather you need the lulls and the quiet time in order to have the bursts of like creative energy that come. It's all part of the same process. And I think that it's been particularly difficult for me, like transitioning into a fully creative career where any money that I make, anything that I do is reliant on my creativity. There's a certain amount of pressure there that gets added because you're like, okay, if I'm not feeling creative, then what the fuck do I do? Because I still have to like make money. So what's going on? So there's like another added pressure there, especially when I already, I'm managing myself. So I'm setting up contracts. My manager side, I'm like setting shit up. I'm setting contracts together. And then my creative self is sometimes staring at my manager self. And I'm like, why'd you do all that for? Because now I've got a lot of work to do, but I did not have any ideas right now. So what did you do that for? And, yeah, I think that I've just had to learn how to be a bit more gentle with my creative self and like understand that being creative is never gonna be the same as like other kinds of productivity in different jobs or in different paths, where like you go to your desk job and you can just check things off your to-do list. You send an email, you're doing administrative tasks that you can just, and you do it. And sometimes being creative is not just as easy as you just go out and do it. I think most of the time being creative is not as easy as just checking off a box and doing it. There's a lot more emotional stuff that goes into being creative regularly on a schedule. And I think it's beneficial to every creative person to sort of let go of that a little bit, let yourself create a little bit more freely, and like understand that the periods of rest, the lulls, are what help your creative highs. So don't feel bad for resting or for not creating, for letting yourself go through periods where being creative is not really happening as much, because you are just preparing yourself for the next creative high. I think in a lot of ways, like taking care of yourself, allowing yourself to rest is creative. And I think that the other thing is that we convince ourselves that if we are not creating the thing, that we are not being creative, when really there are so many opportunities to bring creative energy into our lives on a day-to-day basis. Even cooking yourself a nice meal is creative, So just because you're not doing the thing doesn't mean you're not exercising your creativity and taking care of your creative self. But I'll tell you this, when I graduated college, I had all these goals for myself where I was like, I'm going to spend all summer making YouTube videos. It's going to be so much fun. Like, I'm done with college. I had a full-time job right out of college doing editing, video production stuff for brands. And so I was working in advertising basically. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go to work, do my 9 to 5, and then I'm going to come home and I'm going to make YouTube videos, and it's going to be so much fun just getting to create and do all this stuff and, you know, have time for all of it now that I'm not working and in school and trying to do YouTube. It's like I took one thing off my plate. So it's time. I'm going to do it. And I didn't make a single video that summer. In fact, I didn't make a single video for about 9 months. And it was like I graduated in May, and from May to February of the next year, I didn't do anything. I didn't make any videos. And that sucked. And I remember feeling so bad about myself during that time because I was like, you've been making videos for your whole life. You've been doing this for years and years and years. Like, why now can you not do it? And it's also like the stakes were getting higher and higher. So it's like, yeah, when I was 14 and making 3 YouTube videos a week, the stakes were much lower, you know, like I wasn't making the type of videos that I'm making at this point. I was making videos on my MacBook webcam that were very minimally edited. I'm not, you know, I'm not doing what I used to be doing. I'm doing something different now that takes a lot more creative energy out of me. I have higher standards for myself, for what I care about, for what I want to create. It all looks different now. And so I was punishing myself for not being able to do what I've always done, even though I wasn't doing what I've always done. I was doing something completely new. I had just started my first full-time job. And it was at a startup. And if you've ever worked at a startup, small company, you understand that it's a lot of work. It's not like these bigger companies where everyone has an established role and you do your tasks and you go home. Working for a startup is like you sort of have your hand in everything and you're expected to do a little bit of everything. You're expected to show up early, to work late, to like eat, sleep, and breathe for the company because you're trying to make the company work. You're trying to establish the company in some way. And it's a lot mentally, emotionally, work-wise. I started this job and I had nothing left to give. Now, this was May 2019 that I graduated, and I didn't make a video from then until February 2020. And we all know what happened March 2020. So that actually helped my creativity a lot, was all of a sudden being at home. My job was pushed into being part-time because we weren't making enough money. And I could just sit at home and make my videos. I ended up getting a new job like a month later, 2 months later, in May 2020. I started working at Hero, which is the skincare brand that I worked at before I started doing YouTube full-time. Started working for them May 2020, and there was a much better work-life balance at Hero. So for the rest of 2020, I was able to like experiment and play and have fun and edit my videos and do both. And then I really started to go hard in 2021, and that's when my channel blew up. But I needed that creative block period to get closer to what I wanted creatively. Was the content that I was creating when I was in college really what I wanted to create forever? The answer was no. I'm so glad that that didn't work out, you know, because then I came back, and instead of doing like weird college story time videos and vlogs, I was making content about not wearing a bra for a year and what that did for my self-esteem. I was making videos about why I think people should masturbate more. And I was having so much more fun talking about those types of things and having content that was more rooted in like sex, dating, fashion than I ever was doing anything else. And I think I needed that time of lull to figure out what actually inspired me in this new section of life. And also I needed that lull because it was not going to happen until I had more time. The job that I was in was not going to allow me to create as freely as I needed to sort of grow into my next self. But I couldn't have predicted that was what was going to happen. You know, it just kind of did. It worked out the way it needed to. And in the moment, I just felt like I was failing. I can now look back and say everything worked out the way it needed to. But at the time, I just felt like I was a failure. I think a lot of times when you can't create, when you feel blocked, it's easy to tell yourself that you feel lazy or that you're being lazy. And that's been something that I've had to even recently keep continuing to unlearn, is like this idea that blocked creatives are lazy when you're not. You're blocked. You are not lazy. And I think that was something I struggled with during that time a lot, of being like, I'm blocked and it's because I'm lazy and I'm kidding myself. And I just, there's got to be something inside me. I'm just like putting it off. It's my fault. Like, I would blame myself for not being able to find it in me to make something, when really I was being like sucked dry by my fucking job. So things did work out the way they needed to eventually, but I say all of that to emphasize that everyone goes through periods of creative block, periods of weeks, months, maybe even years where you're not creating anything. And that doesn't mean a single thing about who you are creatively or what's going to happen next in your creative life. Because I think the lulls are part of living a creative life. You could not live a creative life without the periods of rest. And that's something that we just need to embrace and accept a little bit more. Next question here says, hello, Maddie. First off, I just want to say how instrumental you and your content has been for me coming into my confidence in my body, personality, and creative skill set after growing up a really insecure, bullied kid. I'm now 20 and graduating college, and I'm struggling with the creative/professional choices in front of me. I feel really anxious about my purpose and value to other people. Do you think that you have a life purpose and that your art/content is yours? Do you think making a purpose into a career is necessary or even the goal? I hear a lot of people say that your work can just be something you enjoy or don't mind doing, but I can't shake the feeling that something that I spend so much time doing should be what fulfills me and provides some real value to the world. I have the conflicting feeling that my passions aren't valuable enough to other people to be a viable purpose, but that it isn't enough for me to just get a job. I can't tell if this is just my inner critic getting too loud because it feels like so much pressure to be at this crossroads, or the quarter life crisis is really doing her thing. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on finding fulfillment in your work and having a creative/passion project sort of job. I think it's one of those things where the goalpost will keep getting pushed, which sort of makes me feel like it's all bullshit, because if you asked my younger self what my life's purpose was, I would tell you it's essentially what I'm doing right now. And if you ask me right now, it's not that I wouldn't agree with that, because I do think that what I'm doing now is connected to my life's purpose, but it feels harder to say something like, yeah, making a YouTube video is my life's purpose, because you do start to feel like, but is this the most profound thing that I can be doing? Like, do I have more to contribute? You start to minimize yourself a little bit, where you're like, okay, I've achieved the thing that I said that I always wanted, that this was going to be my life's purpose. And now that I'm here, I feel like it's not enough, that I need to be doing more, contributing more, that like my value, it needs to be more than this. And so I feel like it's one of those things that it's just going to keep getting pushed. You're going to achieve this thing that you say is your purpose. And then once that's there, you're going to be like, well, this can't be it. I have to do more. There has to be more here. And so I don't know. I don't see having a purpose as being something that needs to be intertwined with your career necessarily. but also, I don't even know how to describe what I'm feeling right now. But like, when I think about what is my purpose as a person, I feel like my answer kind of stretches into every part of who I am. Because if you ask me what I think my purpose is, I think that my purpose is probably being someone that can help bring relief to other people. And I think that I can do that through my work. I think I can, make content that brings relief to other people. When I sit online and I talk about how I enjoy having pubic hair and I think it's sexy, that's going to make someone somewhere say, oh, thank God. I'm going to say things or do things, share things through my work that is going to bring relief to other people, that is going to help people feel like they're not alone, or they're, can just sort of exhale a little bit. But I also think that's just like the type of person that I am. I think that, like, even looking around at like my friendships, relationships, like I hope that the people around me can come to me, come sit on my couch, drink a glass of wine with me, and just feel like, like I want to be a person who can sort of be a breath of fresh air, a relief for people to be around. And that's not to say that I'm an easy person or any of the sort. Not a relief in the sense of like she's easy to digest, because we all know that's not always the case for me. But you know what I'm saying? I just hope that I can be someone that offers other people this like resting place of like safety and being gentle and just like having sort of a soft spot to land. And that has really felt like my purpose in a lot of ways. I want my purpose to be that I can provide relief to people. My purpose is not to be the world's most famous this or the world's most known that. And I think my purpose in a lot of ways comes from being a bullied kid and being someone who felt a certain way about themselves for a long, long time, and now not feeling that way and wanting other people to know that there's like another side of that. So I don't know, I guess I would say that's what my purpose is, and that's why it feels like a little reductive to say my purpose is to make YouTube videos, or my purpose is to hit 1 million subscribers. My purpose is to, I don't know, change the world. I don't know that that is my purpose. My purpose feels less like something that I can achieve in like a check it off the box kind of way, and more like a, at the end of my life, what is it that I want people to feel when they remember me? And to me, I think it's just that I want people to like feel relief. I want them to feel like they can exhale around me. Like they, I don't know, like they can just like be themselves, I guess. It's not specific. It's not like the most difficult to achieve thing in the world. I think it's just like the type of person you are and how that connects to every part of you. So is my purpose connected to the things that I do for money? Yeah, for sure. Everything is. If it's my purpose, I feel like it's sort of all encompassing. But I don't necessarily believe that. I don't know. I do feel like to say that like making YouTube videos is my purpose would be a little bit reductive, because it's not making videos that's my purpose. I mean, I love doing this. This is my favorite thing in the world. It's my dream job. It's not even a job, really. I hate calling it a job. I hate calling this work, because I just feel like the words job and work sort of tend to have like, it's my work, it's a job, I'm so exhausted, connotations with it. And I don't want this job to have that sort of feeling attached to it. So, I mean, I think being a creative person is part of my purpose, because I think that part of how I can make people feel relief, one of the tools in my toolkit as a person, how I can make people feel that way, is by creating. I was born a person with these set of skills and talents, and the way in which I can help people feel a certain way is by creating. So it's all connected, but I just don't know. I don't know that I would so, I don't know. I just don't know that I would attach it so like strongly to my career. You know, maybe it's just a wording thing that I have an issue with. Like, I don't like referring to this as like work, a job that I need to be miserable about. I think like changing the wording of things has power to it. So I don't know. This is fun. I get to have fun for a living, and I get to be creative, and I get to share my thoughts and feelings, and as a result of sharing my thoughts and feelings, I help other people feel more comfortable with their own thoughts and feelings, and that is fulfilling to me. I don't need to be the world's best this. I don't need to win awards or be recognized or, you know, be invited to all the hottest events, have all of these people wanting to know me. I don't need all of that, because my purpose isn't that, you know? Is what I'm saying making sense? I'm not trying to change the world, but I would like to have a positive impact on the people that do come across me in this life. Not that I hope to change anyone's lives in any way, but just that I hope that when people are around me, when people consume my content, they can feel like they can exhale. Like they can feel a little bit better for the 20 minutes that they're watching my videos, for the hour that they're listening to my podcast. That it makes them feel relief, that it makes them think and reflect in a way that ends up making them feel relief. Like I just, that's what I hope for. And that's what feels like my purpose is. I know what my skills and my strong suits are. And it's like, how can I use those things to work together? And I don't even really know if people need to have a purpose. Like, the only reason I'm giving you one is because you asked. I don't go around my life being like, this is my purpose. I'm doing everything for this. But if I had to sit down and think about what I think my purpose could be in this lifetime, that's what my answer would be. But I don't know that people need to have a purpose. In another way, I think it's just like a way to try to simplify ourselves into being in these little boxes of like, what's the reason that I'm here? As if we can have just one answer for that. I don't think that everybody has to approach life the same way. There are tons of people that are like, yeah, I think my career is just supposed to be something that I don't mind doing. And I can save all the things I enjoy to be my hobbies and whatever else. And I don't need to connect all of these things. And I think that's super fucking fair. I think that's some people's take on it. Other people want to find ways to make their passion, their career, to make the thing they love the most, the thing that makes them money. I think there's downsides to doing that as well, which there always are. But I don't think there's a right or wrong way to go. I don't think your career needs to be your passion and your purpose. I think it can be. But I usually think it's deeper than that. And it's not just like, my purpose is to fulfill this job. You know? I don't know. I would love to hear what your guys' takes are on that in the comments. Because I feel very like, about the whole concept of like having a purpose in general. All right. Next up, We've got someone that says, "Hello, Maddie. I've been a fan of your content for years now, and I've been really taking on board your relationship, sex, and body image advice for a long time. I've been taking all of that into account, and really adopting and appreciating your perspective has shaped my relationship with my first boyfriend. He's absolutely great, but I'm quite embarrassed to admit to my friends and ask their opinions about this. He often goes on Twitter or TikTok beside me, and every so often I'd see provocative or outright sexual content on his feed. I'm really not sure how to feel about this. I'm not sure if I'm being irrational and should accept that, yes, he is a college student, so of course he'd be interested in that. But I can't help but notice that these women look nothing like me, and I know for a fact that he has followed at least a few of these accounts since our relationship developed. I'm a plus-size woman, and the women on his page are categorically not. I don't know how he could be attracted to me and then fancy these women. I feel like I might be being irrational or too sensitive, but personally I don't follow any sexually explicit accounts. This is because I really don't feel the need to, because I have him and I wish he felt the same. He is enough for me. Also, there is an element of respectfulness that I abide by. I would really love and respect your perspective on this, or even how to calmly approach a conversation about this. Honestly, my feelings are just hurt." So first off, I just want to say that I don't think you're being irrational or too sensitive, and it kind of doesn't matter either way. You feel how you feel, and it's fine that this is bringing up something for you. So I think the conversation of like porn consumption, or even like sexual-ish content in relationships is one that people have a lot of conflicting opinions about. And it's also like a more emotionally nuanced topic. Like you can hold certain opinions and then still in the moment react differently. We are not like perfectly manicured people that are going to fit in boxes. Sometimes we can sit here and be like, yeah, I'm totally fine with porn in a relationship, but then things come up that you're like, oh, but that made me feel weird. And that's totally fine. And I think there are ways to open conversations about these things without making it like a game of like, and you did this and this sucked and you're bad, and like pointing fingers at each other, and more just like opening the floor of being like, this made me feel weird and I would like to just openly discuss, because I love you and I want to make this work, but this hurt my feelings a little bit. I've definitely dated people. Obviously, I've never been in like a long-term serious relationship, so a little bit different. But I have dated people casually where I've noticed that they follow a lot of porn stars or sex workers online. And I don't particularly care. Sometimes I do. But it's mostly when I feel like there's like a line that has been crossed. I guess in my brain, it's like, I don't mind if the person that I'm with is following porn stars and sex workers online. Unless I feel like they're fetishizing them, then I have an issue with it. But like, I don't have an issue really with someone finding internet personalities attractive and wanting to look at their photos. There definitely were people that I went out with that I like looked at their following list and noticed that they followed like 150 plus size sex workers. And I was sitting there like, that's a little weird. Like, even when they look similarly to me, I'm almost like, so am I a fetish to you, or like what's going on here? Because that's a lot. That's a lot, isn't it? So there's lines. There's like, you know, I'm cool with most of it, but there's definitely some people that can be like a little weird and fetishy. And I've also definitely been in situations where I've noticed that people that I was dating like exclusively followed and liked thin people's photos, and I was sort of put off by that as well, because I was like, but you're into big girls because you're dating me, but you don't publicly interact with any big girl content, which I don't love. There like is a balance to it, right? Like I'm fine with the person that I'm dating consuming porn and interacting with sex workers and porn stars on the internet, liking their photos. That's fine to me. If you're following like majority sex workers on your account, I might start to feel like you're like a little weird. If you're only following sex workers that look a certain way, I might start to feel a little weird. I don't know. It's hard to like totally nail down, right? I think there's like lines to it. I'm cool with people following porn stars, sex workers, engaging with that kind of content online, but if there's no diversity to the content that you're consuming, I might start to raise my eyebrow. And if you are following hundreds of these accounts, I might also start to raise my eyebrow. It's not inherently a red flag, but it could be, which is why I start to go, what's going on here? Like, are you a fetishist? Are you a fucking weirdo? What's going on? So it doesn't necessarily have to mean something bad or anything deeper, but it could be. So I get it. I get the discomfort because I'm like, you know, are you a respectful consumer of this content or are you fucking gross? Because that changes how I feel about you. It has less to me to do with like the content being a reflection of our relationship and more to do with the content being a reflection of like the type of person they are, where I'm like, is this what's going on? So I don't know. It's complicated. I don't even think that it has to be like porn stars or sex workers. I even think that like following a ton of models sort of is the same thing. If I see that someone follows a lot of plus size models, I tend to feel like, oh, okay, nice. But if they follow like 500 plus size models, I'm kind of like, okay, wait a minute. You know, it starts to feel like when we were in like the year 2009 and boys would like I Heart Boobies pages on Facebook as if we couldn't see their likes. Like sometimes I just start to get those vibes and I'm like, are you the same as the 7th grade I Heart Boobies boys? Because I don't know if I'm totally on that boat. There's lines, there's boundaries, right? It's the very fine line between like, I like porn, I support sex workers, and like I'm a weirdo, I'm a fetishist who's just like being a weirdo online, boobs, you know? So that's how I see it. So anyways, that's how I feel. I think a lot of people will probably feel similarly, where it's like sometimes it's fine, but it can also be weird. Some people will think it's like 100% weird. You don't want your partner following any porn stars, models, sex workers, none of that. And other people have absolutely no issue with it whatsoever. Your partner could follow 2,000 porn stars on Instagram and you would have no issue with it. People are going to have like different levels of where they're at and how cool they are with it. It's fine to feel weird about it. Like, even if you are someone that's mostly cool with it and you're like, yeah, I'm fine if my partner and I watch porn, but sometimes I feel weird and sometimes I don't. And this is a situation where I feel weird about it. It doesn't need to be like, yes, I'm 100% in or yes, I'm 100% out. You're allowed to sit in the gray area a little bit and be like, okay, well, I'm sometimes fine with that, but this particular situation, the repetitiveness of this, the sheer amount of this is making me feel a little uncomfortable. And I deeply empathize with your gut reaction to seeing your partner following a lot of thin, beautiful women, being like, if that's what you're attracted to, how are you attracted to me? I get that way of thinking because I've definitely had thoughts like that about myself as well. But I think at the end of the day, like, you can be attracted to multiple things at once. You can be attracted to plus size people and straight size people. You can be attracted to people, a range of body sizes, body types, appearances, whatever. It kind of doesn't matter. Types are bullshit. Coming from someone that doesn't have a physical type, it is bullshit. So, I don't think it matters. I think you can be attracted to both, but I understand your feeling and understand the sentiment of like, well, if you only follow thin porn stars and sex workers and models, like, do you really like me or do you only like me in private? You wouldn't follow a plus size porn star or a plus size model and like her photos. You know, I get it. I do, because I would probably feel the same way that you are in some way. And I think it's easy to go down the path of like, he's enough for me. Why does he need to branch off and consume this content? Like, why am I not enough? And take it personally. I don't think it needs to be taken there. I don't think it is usually that personal. I think that sometimes when we take it to that place, it becomes something that hits a lot deeper and that feels like it's like, oh, we're failing in some way. I am not good enough in some way, and that's why this is happening, when that's not the case. So before we even go down that mental path any further, I would honestly just sit down with your partner and be like, hey, so I've noticed that you follow a lot of more like sexually explicit accounts online, and it's started to make me feel a little weird. It's bringing up some insecurities of mine, and I think I start to feel a little confused when I see you following a ton of beautiful women that look nothing like me. And I start to feel like less than, because those women don't fucking look like me. And you follow a lot of them and you like their posts and they appear on your feed. And I trust you and I believe in our relationship, but this is bringing something up for me, and I just wanted to share that it's been making me feel a little weird, and just open the conversation there. I don't think it needs to be something of like pointing fingers or being like, you need to unfollow them right now and watch him unfollow all the accounts. I think it's more productive to just open the conversation and be honest that it's triggering something for you. It's pulling up these feelings of not good enough, and you just want to have a more open conversation about these things, because I think that's sometimes half the problem of like, you see your partner consuming this content but you never talk about it, so you just consume it and you're like, oh, it's because he likes that and that's just fucking, that's what he would prefer and not me, when really, like, if you guys had more open conversations about porn and, you know, sex work and the types of content you consume online, then maybe it would ease some of those feelings altogether. Food for thought. I do empathize with how you're feeling, though. It is hard, and I think it's one of those things that, like, I mean, even I can sit here and I can tell you like what my general thoughts are on like porn consumption in relationships and following sexual accounts, but I don't know how I would act if I was in your position, like genuinely. Maybe I would feel the exact same way. I'm sure I would feel similarly, but who knows? You know, it's one of those things that, like, even if you say you're like, I don't care at all, in the moment you might find that you do, and that's fine. And I think it's just something you need to open up with your partners to be honest about, and just say, it's making me feel a little weird. I feel a little insecure about it. I'm not pointing fingers. I'm not calling you a bad person. I'm not saying you need to do anything. I just wanted to tell you, and we can talk about where to move from here and what's going to make us both feel the most comfortable. So good luck. Open that conversation and try not to beat yourself up for it or blame yourself or reinforce those thoughts of like, this is happening because I'm not good enough. Why am I not enough for him? He's enough for me. Those are not productive thoughts. I do not think they are true. They are not rooted in truth. And I think they are just there to sort of beat ourselves up. So I would try to squash those when they pop up. Anywho's and any what's, I've got to go fix my ugly fucking nails and have a good rest of my day. So I love you guys so much. Thanks for hanging with me, and we'll talk next week. Same time. See ya.